All right, what's up, guys? How we doing? Matt here with OddsJam, here to just hit some bets. Let me just wait a little bit. I'm just tweeting this out, give people time to trickle in and whatnot. So just bear with me for a little bit. Yeah, so I'm also logging, excuse me, logging into all of my sports books as well, so I don't have to do that when I am, actually trying to do stuff. So if you just give me 1 second here, again, also waiting for people to join. All right, so I'm in there. I'm in there. Or not. I mean, I don't even trying to log in the PointsBet. I really don't even see the point with PointsBet because, like, I posted this a little bit earlier, but like, they let me get like $2.50 on PointsBet, which is just incredibly lame. They're even worse than BetMGM personally. All right. And all right, so we're good. Let me share my screen and we can get right into it. So right off the bat, there was like 5 that I have already locked in that I would recommend definitely tailing. None of them are actually for today. They're all, let's see, 4 of them are soccer. One of them is the XFL, which is going to be incredibly fun. But just to go through them real quick, again, I've already locked these in. You see the check mark. They're added to my bet tracker. Already been locked in. But the first one, Borussia Dortmund over 2.5 team total, +1, excuse me, +132 on FanDuel. Recommend locking in that one. If you have Bet365, which I would definitely make sure to see if they're legal in your state, depending on where you are, because they just legalized in a bunch of different states. So they're now available in more states than they were. So I'll definitely make sure and see if they are. If they are, they're one of the squarest sports books in terms of like what they have their odds priced at. They're the easiest to take advantage of. There's always a ton of opportunities on Bet365. It's amazing. So anyways, this is an Asian total over 2.25. Basically means if you risk, the way it works is like you risk $100 and it puts 50 on over 2 and 50 on over 2.5. So if it lands at exactly 2, you would lose the 50 on obviously the over 2.5, but you would at least push the 2. So that's kind of the logic of why what the Asian lines mean. It's only for soccer. But hit that over 2.25 -105 at Bet365. The next one is XFL Orlando Guardians money line +145 at DraftKings. Locked in this one as well. Then we have, and I actually just locked this one in and posted it on Twitter. Same game as the first one. Hertha BSC versus Borussia Dortmund over 3.5 total goals. I mean, obviously these are correlated. If one hits, the other one's likely to hit. And then obviously the opposite is true. If one doesn't hit, then the other one is less likely to hit. But they're both value. They're both for plus money too. So like if one hits, in the off chance that like Hertha scores 3 and they only score 1 or whatever it may be, you're still profiting. And then Manchester City versus Nottingham Forest over 3.5 +176 on FanDuel. So those are the 5 that I have already locked in that I recommend you guys tail. And let me mess with my filters a little bit, even though I hate using PointsBet. Some other people might be able to use them, so I'll have them show up here. All right, so and we can just go through. I can kind of show you through what I am looking for. There's also a couple here that I locked in that aren't hidden. Number 1, this is on Circa. I'm actually going to filter them out because I'm guessing not a lot of people use Circa. And I guess, yeah. All right. So anyway, sorry about that. So here's one we can look into right off the bat. Leicester City under 0.5 team total against Manchester United. This is on Sunday, February 19th. I mean, this one looks good. The market width is 23. I don't look at that as much as I used to, but it's still nice to see. Nove odds price this. Let me zoom in just a little bit. Price this at like +177. So there's a 5-cent gap between these two numbers. And then if you look at like where the other books price it, FanDuel at plus 182. The rest of them, closest being plus 168. So this one's good. I'm going to hit this one. I'm going to scale it down. Location restricted. No, it's not. It literally just locked in. Anyways, so I'm going to hit this one for a little bit of a lower unit size. I'm going to put 0.75 units on this one as opposed to the full unit, just because the win percentage is so low. I definitely am not saying you should avoid these. I just unit size down a little bit. That's all. So it's Leicester City versus Man United, and it was Leicester City. So to find this, you just go to goals. And soccer has it the opposite. So the home team is first, the away team is second. So in this case, Leicester City is the away team. So you just go to away team under 0.5 plus 182 odds, $75, and we are locked in. Let me add this one to my bet tracker. To confirm, we're looking at Leicester City under 0.5 team total plus 182 odds on FanDuel. That one has been locked in. You haven't hidden it, but that's okay. Next up, there's a tennis one. Talon Griekspoor versus, I don't want to butcher that guy's name, first name, Brower. Total games under 23.5, minus 136. It's at FanDuel. This one looks good right off the bat. But one thing that I like to do, and I do this a ton, is if you just click view event page, it just opens it up in a new tab. And so we're taking the under 23.5 minus, where'd it go? Minus 136. So one thing that I like to do is if you just click show no big odds, you can see if the bet that you're placing beats the closing line of the majority of books or not. So in this case, it looks like it does beat the closing line. It was minus 136. So it does beat the closing line of BetOnline and Pinnacle, but it doesn't from every other book. So this is kind of an interesting situation where do you trust the majority of sports books, which have the Novig line below minus 136? Or do you trust the two sharp sports books in BetOnline and Pinnacle that have it priced above minus 136? And there's no perfect answer for this. It's all about like personal preference and stuff. And what do you deem to be a big enough outlier or not? For me, I trust Pinnacle and I trust, so I actually need to go to alternatives under 23.5. So I trust Pinnacle and I trust BetOnline. So I am going to take this one because it basically, and I can only get $68. Basically, if it's plus EV to both of those books, they're sharper than the others. They generally have tighter lines and better odds and all that good stuff. It just applies, or the outlier is a bigger deal when it comes to them, those two, Pinnacle and BetOnline. So I choose to trust them. If it's plus EV to both of them, then I will take it, which is obviously I did. So here's one that, although the odds are a little bit messed up. Yeah, this one might just be pulling in weird. I'm going to avoid this one because it says minus 103 at Bet365, but it's pulling it in at BetRivers, but it's not plus EV to any of these books available. So I'm guessing there's just something funky going on here, or the Novig odds are pulling in odds from a book that I don't currently have the view of. Regardless, I'm going to go ahead and avoid that one. This one I actually did hit Pennsylvania money line. I locked it in at plus 148. It's now been bet down to plus 140, but it's still good. It's still plus EV. Let's see if it's plus EV to the sharp books. That's the most important thing. So you want to make sure that it still beats the Novig line of BetOnline, Bookmaker, and Pinnacle. So let's see. Just got to view the event page and check it out. Let's see. Plus, yes, okay. I would avoid it at plus 140. Unfortunately, this is no longer a play at plus 140 for me personally because it's not plus EV to Bookmaker. And then the line I got plus 148 was. So I don't think that one, unfortunately, is not a play anymore. Here's another soccer one that we can check out. This one, I'm guessing, won't be plus EV to Pinnacle. Just looking at the width is pretty high at 31, and it's only a 10-cent gap. But we can see I would err towards not taking this one. PSG over 3.5 total goals. But we can see, or PSG versus Bayern. Yeah, so I'm going to avoid this one. It's only plus EV to BetMGM and Caesars. So I'm going to go ahead and sit this one out. Here's a random college hoops game, Canisius. This one looks good. off the bat, plus 4.5, plus 130. Again, you just want to make sure that it's plus EV to the majority. In this case, we just have Pinnacle. So you don't want to look at, you want to look at the other books as well, because it's just Pinnacle, not like the other one that we locked in, that was Pinnacle and Bet Online. So let's see. So it's plus 4.5. All right. So it was plus 130, I believe. Yes. So it looks like this is not plus EV to any book except for Pinnacle. So this one I will avoid because, like I said, I don't have the benefit of having Bet Online. And to answer your question, with it just calculates the difference between the Pinnacle line. So like the difference between these two numbers. Basically, all you need to know is the higher the number is bad. High equals bad, low equals good. Anything that is like 25 and below is generally a pretty tight market width. And then anything that is 15 and below is really tight. If you want, like if you just Google OddsJam market width, you can, I would recommend checking out this article, which I can just link here, I guess. I'd recommend checking that out. It just details what market width is and why it's valuable and like how to use it. That wasn't helpful. Copy link. Sorry. There you go. Sorry. So check out that, not the first one. Yeah, it's just, it basically details what market width is. But yeah, I mean, the way you calculate it, you just calculate the difference between these two numbers. So two minuses, you add them together, 7 plus 11 equals 18. For a plus and a minus, you subtract them. So 59 minus 28 equals 31. And that's how market width works. But we're getting lower. And here's another one I actually already locked in. Manchester City team total over 2.5. Let's see what I got it at. I got it at plus 142. Still good at plus 140. So I would recommend hitting this one as well. Manchester City team total over 2.5. Then the last play we can look into is, and this one I'm going to avoid because it looks like Pinnacle is actually the outlier here as opposed to every other book. Like Pinnacle has it at minus 116. I guess Bet Rivers too. So both of them. Maybe I'll look into it a little bit more. Basically, I want to see what books is it plus EV to. This plus 105 at PointsBet. Upon initial thought, might be a little bit better than I thought. But we're looking at Matthew Barzal under 2.5 shots on goal. And then I got to bounce to a meeting. So we're going to remove the VIG. Matthew Barzal, and it was plus 105. So it looks like it beats the no VIG odds of DraftKings, Bet Rivers, and Pinnacle. It doesn't beat the no VIG odds of every other book, including Bet Online. So this one I will avoid. So my initial thought was correct. So nothing to do there. And that's going to be it. So a couple bets for you guys to tail if you did. Yeah, I mean, if you tuned in, I appreciate you tuning in, appreciate you tailing. And that's going to be it. So happy Friday. Have a good weekend and have a good one.